You got me?
Vince, what's up, man? I got you. How are you?
I'm good.
This is Vincent Dennis, aka Vincent Price from Body Count, bass
What
player.
up?
How are you, man? Thank you for coming on. Had
Thank you.
ice on yesterday. I feel like I love you guys. I just love hearing you talk on issues and shit. So, and your stories are always wild. So it's fun to catch up. And I appreciate you coming on, helping support
got
this.
it.
So thank you. So,
Well, I just want to say one thing. What you're doing right now is great. I'm totally
thank you.
proud of you, dude. This is like rad.
I appreciate that, man.
You know?
You're my fucking dog. I got to support. Yeah. So I mean, shit, we could talk about anything, but to people out there who may not know you as well, like, tell a little bit about yourself. I know you kind of came up in like the 80s in the punk scene in LA, kind of
Oh, yeah.
out of like a community that doesn't really listen to this kind of music and stuff. So give me a little bit of background, like, on your life, how you got to where you were, how you wound up, at fucking Prong and Body Count and touring with Prince. There's so much. Just go. You got the stories.
Well, I was born and raised in South Central. I lived in Inglewood. I lived in Compton. I grew up in Watts, and I saw all of this stuff so many times. I was probably saying fuck the police or fuck the pigs when I was walking. They would just, I seen them like take my uncles down. I seen so much crap going on, and I was gang banging, but gang banging back then was a little different. It wasn't, you didn't carry guns and all that other stuff. You just fought.
Yeah.
You fought for your neighborhood and everything, and then relocated to Pomona, started hanging out with kids, skateboarding and stuff like that, got into punk rock. And punk rock was another thing for me because it was like, I mean, back when I was, a kid growing up, there was so much going on. I was protesting like every weekend with my grandmother and my aunts and uncles and everything else, since I was a kid, back in the day. So when I got into punk rock, it was another way for me to protest. I'm like, wow, I could be in a gang and hang out with these kids and yet, and listen to the music that speaks, back then, punk rock it was a little different. It was totally political. That's all it was. And it was always fuck the police, I mean, even ICE even said it was, 82 was MDC, Me and Dead Cops, but there was Circle One. There was like so many bands always talking about the police. And plus, I mean, freaking there was all kinds of riots at these punk gigs too. I remember there was one riot. It was I think it was Huntington Park or something like that. I might be wrong. I'm 54 years old, so I mean my I can get things confused. But anyways, it was Suicidal Tendency. It was gonna be Exploited. It was when Exploited had the song called "Fuck the USA." So there's a big riot that broke down and everything at that gig. And I remember the cops looking at me and going, damn, a punker and he's black? We're going to get him. So they beat me with a billy club and I had the stick leather jacket back when there was real leather jackets. And I mean, it wasn't phasing me at all. But I mean, this police brutality stuff has been going on for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, you've literally fought against police brutality for almost 50 years through the community of music and punk rock and stuff. You're definitely one of the originals in this world. And you've seen the wave of different approaches, different bands. You've lived through the protests. You've come from the hood, and you've been from, the poorest of communities to the biggest stages of arenas, touring with shit like Prince, and you were out before we got into the studio. Before you were out with Ariana Grande, literally the biggest pop artist in the world on one of the biggest pop artists in the world on the biggest stage. You have seen it all. You have seen America at its like worst and its best. Like your perspective on it is insane to me. So it's like right now, okay. This is none of this is new to you. None of this is all familiar. It's the same cycle. Is fucking anything getting better? Is there anything somebody like me should take notice of, should do? Like the music community, is there anything we should do? Like help me out here, man.
Well, the one thing, I won't go into all the stuff that's been going on, but there's a couple things to keep in mind. There's a movie out called Made in America. Okay.
Okay.
It's by legendary skateboarder Stacy Peralta. And it's about the Watts riots, the neighborhood, basically the Bloods and Cribs documentary. But from like day one, when we were allowed to have a voice. So if anybody needs to know about all the stuff that's going on, just look at that. Just look at that documentary. It explains it all.
Made in America.
What we're dealing with now. And the other thing is like, I've been doing like press and stuff like that. I've been calling ICE a visionary, because basically he's been singing about this stuff, and now it's happening. You look at lyrics in Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, we did a song 5 years ago that was Civil War, and it's like the writing has been on the wall for this the whole time. Everyone's been on some level aware that these issues were gonna surface one day. They were gonna surface worse. It's just shit that has to get dealt with. So you've seen it fail over and over. Like you've seen police brutality like become a hotbed issue, and then people care about it, and then it goes away. And then you see something about racial profiling. You see something about systemic racism. You see like these things come in and out of the news. People care about it for a minute, and then it goes away. Like any advice on how to make shit stick is what I'm looking for. Anything like
everybody just stay at it. Keep talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the lack of commitment to solving the problem. It's only that, I mean, I can't speak on everybody, but I think from what I've seen, it's when people only care about this shit in the moment because it's right in front of their face. And then when it goes back into the shadows, people just forget about it. They just ignore it. It's not, there's other shit to deal with. The whole world sucks. This sucks. Now we and it's like people will leverage other issues against this issue. Well, what about this war we're about to have? Well, what about, well, now they're talking about passing a bill for, this, or now it's abortion. Now let's go yell at this. Let's go yell at this. And all of these are important issues, but at least some of those issues, there's attempts to solve. And I'm not trying to diminish other issues and the struggles of other communities at all. I'm just saying this one never gets fucking solved, No. And I'm trying to understand why. And I think you're right. I think it is just long-term commitments. And I don't think a lot of people, I think people are starting to come around to it now, because I fucking sure have, and we've done plenty of charity work and nonprofit shit, and we write songs about it. And I mean, you've been doing it longer than me, but we've been doing it for years, but we haven't seen change, and, yeah, I had to ask you that because you've literally lived through it your entire life, But yeah, I mean, so where's that? Like, what is your take on the LA and the community right now? Compared to what it was back in '92 or back like through the Rodney King riots and stuff like that. Like, what does it look like now in LA?
Well, I mean, basically everybody knows what's going on, point blank, because of the internet and all that other stuff. But I mean, what it boils down to is everybody needs to get out there and vote and see who's next to deal with, and see if they're going to deal with these issues. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we've talked about voting a lot on here, but it's still sometimes it's lesser of two evil things, and sometimes I don't know. I haven't seen a presidential candidate rally around the Black Lives Matter movement to the point where I feel like, oh yeah, he's going to do it. Let's go fucking get it out. But people are going to actually have to make those choices and be like, I still have to vote. I still have to keep working through to get to that point, the lesser of two evils, and then the lesser of two evils again and again. And maybe it just gets a little better, but locally, it's important. We had a councilman on yesterday, and he represents Bay Ridge in Brooklyn. And, he talked about the importance of voting too, and he does support the Black Lives Matter movement. He does want to defund police, and he, gave a lot of insight into what some of the issues are. But it's like you have to put a guy like that in place who can speak for people, and you're right. Like voting voting is a big part of it. And a part of, for whatever reason, people in my age group and in younger kids, like, they don't go out and vote. You can vote when you're 18. I didn't know fucking shit when I was 18, but you can vote when you're 18. So if you can get informed enough now, you know, I think you're right, man. So I don't know.
I just don't understand why you can't vote over the internet like you can vote for everything else.
Yeah, everything. I think it's part of a bigger problem of suppression, voter suppression, right. Pretty fucking real too. And you know, Trump's been tweeting every couple of weeks that about how mail-in votes are going to be corrupt and this and that. It's like, you can tell he's scared, because if you let all that happen, he voted out in a landslide. You know,
right?
Yeah, it's complicated, systemic problems. But whatever. I mean, I'm here for you, man. I love you.
I love you too, man. What you're doing is great, though. You know, it's like everybody just got to go out there and just keep at this, whether it be protests, writing songs about it. I mean, it starts in the home, you know, education in the home, just everywhere. You know, the more people talk about it, the more things it's going to eventually change, because people are really going to get fed up with it eventually. You know? I mean, it's happening now.
We talked about like this negative optimism thing, how bad shit happens, but we at least see some positive results from it. And like, I mean, I don't know a person who I talk to who isn't dealing with this now and figuring out a way to be useful and helpful. And I've never seen that. And it was part of my motivation to do this. It's like,
right.
People actually want to try to fix this now.
Yeah.
And I hope it gets more legs than just our circles and punk and hardcore communities. I hope it goes beyond just us echo chamber and our shit, and like it can actually get out into the world. But a lot of people that have been on here have been involved. I know you guys have always been so outspoken about this, and, you know, have rallied people. I mean, you have the unofficial protest song of police brutality, you know, for sure, you know, and it's definitely rallied people up. I saw dudes printing on Instagram, printing body count shirts like with old cop killer stuff on them and selling them and donating the money to the charity. It's like, you still, you know, the band's reached an audience a generation later with that song, you know, so it's cool to know that you guys have like still had that impact, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. So catch me up on like what else you got going on right now. Let's talk.
Well, I can say one thing is I was listening to you, and me and my girl were cruising down at the beach, and one thing, I didn't get pulled over.
All right.
Because I'm always getting pulled over no matter what. You know, It's like I'll be driving in any car that I have, I'll get pulled over. I mean, that's what she said to me the other day. You know what? We're always getting pulled over.
Yeah.
You know? And luckily, I have this voice that they like look at me twice and go, okay. And I will become a statistic.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone, I mean, it's crazy, but face value, you know, if you get past face value, if anyone has any kind of conversation with you, they realize you're a sweet person. And, you know, I think, fucking the cars you drive and how much of a target you must be for racial profiling out there. I mean, we went to Trader Joe's in that Mercedes lowrider shit. Like, I was scared. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, you're a fucking target for these people no matter what. You know, and that's just you're just who you are, you know, and you're not in any form of, you know, you're one of the sweetest guys I know, and couldn't ever, there's like not a bad bone in your body. And to see you have to deal with shit like this and go through this, I mean, it's part of what fires me up to get involved and do shit like this. So, I mean, I appreciate you being the good person that you are and inspiring me to stand with you and stand beside you and help the Black community try to get through all this fucking bullshit. So
nice.
So talk to me about, all right, little bit of light shit, because you're too sweet of a guy to just go heavy the whole time. So
I'm not going to go heavy. That's already been done.
I'm going to speed round you with some stuff.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Favorite tour you've ever done?
Favorite tour I ever done? Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot. I will say all of them. All of them have some kind of like special meaning to them, you know?
That's awesome. If you had, the dream band to tour with, you get one.
Dream band to tour with. Wow, that's tough. You have to go. You have to pass on that one because basically
like
with Body Count, we play with so many crazy different bands. I mean, from pop to punk to death metal to whatever. I mean, we're a headlining band ourselves, so it's kind of hard.
All right, fair enough. I like
Rammstein.
Rammstein. There you go. That's actually a good one. That'd be a new experience. I wonder if Rammstein would take you on tour.
Oh yeah,
I feel like they would. I feel like they lean towards the extreme, and so do you. I could see them being into it. Have your people hit their people. That'd be a fun one. All right. If you who's your favorite person to guitar tech for? I don't know if people know this, but in Vince's downtime, he's like an A-level sought after tech who goes out with some of the biggest artists in the world. So what's the most fun one, when you're working, when you're not doing the band stuff? Who's like, the one where you look forward to the most?
Well, my favorite one was Chris Cornell, which I was his last guitar tech, and it was like with him, it's like just listen to him sing and listen to his just challenging because I never knew what songs he's gonna play. He's got all these different tunings and just it's crazy and it's acoustic. And that guy, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's great, man. I was fortunate that I got to see them on the last that Nine Inch Nails tour they did, and I fucking could not believe that I was like listening to him that was live, because he was a perfect singer. It was a shame that we had to lose him, but that's a good answer because I'm a big Soundgarden fan. So
yeah,
real cool, man. All right, well, is there anything else you want to say? Because unfortunately, I have to keep this moving, but I just want to give you a shout if there's anything else you want to go over or talk about. Tell the people what's up.
One thing, before this whole thing happened, I was looking forward to us doing Jimmy Fallon. That's what I was looking forward to. And also playing that show at the Cro-Mags. You guys in the Cro-Mags.
Yeah, that was going to be fun. I was like a lot of highs to a lot of lows. Like, I'm going to play with Body Count. I'm going to be on Jimmy Fallon. I'm going to fucking do all this stuff. And then, COVID hit. But, light at the end of the tunnel, maybe it all gets rescheduled. We got bigger fish to fry right now, but I'm excited to see Body Count get back out there once the world returns to some kind of new normal. And, I love you, man. Always here to support you. Thank you again for coming on. Let's do a little giveaway thing. I know we talked about this with Ice yesterday, but courtesy of Century Media, we got 10 copies of your new record that we're going to give out to 10 winners. So if you enter now, donate a $10 charitable donation at soundrink.live. You're automatically entered into our giveaway raffle, and we're going to send 10 winners a copy of Carnivore, the new record from Body Count. Vince, thank you again, man. Always a pleasure.
You got it.
We will catch up soon.
Doing good.
No, thank you. I'm trying.
All right, thanks.
All right, homie. Talk to you.
All right.
Vincent Dennis, one of the best people I know. Tremendous human. Body Count. It's all just great. All right. I'm going to be back at you in 5 minutes. I'm going to go chase down Derek from Sepultura, and we'll be right back.